Welkom, welkom allemaal hier in de zaal en welkom iedereen online bij dit mooie event hier in de Stadsbrouwerij in Rotterdam. I have to speak in English today because it's an international event. So welcome everybody online, also in English. This is an event produced by nlgroeit and Upstream. Upstream is the organization of the total event here, and nlgroeit is an organization, a Dutch organization, which is a cooperation of people, entrepreneurs who like to have a mentor. So at nlgroeit you can look for a mentor if you like to learn more about your company, about yourself, about finance, or about marketing or anything else for your company. It's a really nice organization. We have about 400 mentors, and any mentee can start over there, look on the website to check for a mentor. But nlgroeit also organizes events and all kinds of masterclasses. And today we organize this event together with Upstream Rotterdam. So very much welcome. I'm Monique Ansink. I'm entrepreneur as well. I have a company and we produce spanbanden, tie-downs in English. Spanbanden, you can fix anything on lorries and trucks to secure your loads to avoid falling it off. We have a company in the Netherlands, a production company in the Netherlands, and as well one in Vietnam. And we produce these tie-downs for all over the world. We sell them in 24 countries nowadays. And we produce them especially also regarding having safe traffic, but we also like to employ people. And our biggest goal is to employ 300 people, of which 70% women. And that's where we go out of our beds every morning. Next to that, I also try to spend my time on connecting entrepreneurs, the government and education. That's one of my personal goals, because I think together we can change the world. And today we are doing that as well, because in this event we talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about changing the world for the better, we talk about how to engage governments with entrepreneurship, but also how to influence education with that. And we have a very, very special guest today. It's also an entrepreneur. And I would like to ask Yousef Yousef to come on stage and give him a warm applause. So Yousef, thank you for being here with us. And I really look forward to share your entrepreneur story, which is also one of the things nlgroeit likes to do, to connect entrepreneurs together, to learn from each other, to share experiences. And when I heard about you, I first was impressed by your name, and I think also the audience will be. Because Yousef Yousef, first I thought it was a failure, but it's your last name and your first name together. Can you a little bit explain how that works and why it's that?
First of all, Monique, I would like to thank you for the very warm and nice introduction. And you are not the only one which think my name is a failure, like Yousef Yousef. Also, when sometime I'm checking in KLM website, it gave me like fault. They think like it cannot be, so I need to add M-R and then Yousef, and then they will think, okay, that's not the same name. Till finally they fix it. So you are not the first one. And the reason why, I was always wondering, like, why did my parents give me the same name? I thought it's by lack of creativity. They were like, another name we have to just put it, but it was not the case. So I did ask my mother, and she said, yeah, it's quite common, and actually to give the same name as a family name is a proudness of the family. So I have some weight on my shoulder to get it in the family. Yes.
But you said lack of creativeness. That means that you are the second or the third or the fifth?
The third one, and the last one as well.
And the last
so
one.
They saw me and they thought, okay, that's enough. Not anymore, you know. So the last one.
Okay, interesting. And Yousef, where does that name come from?
It comes from the Bible.
Yeah.
It's Joseph, or Giuseppe, or Josep. So you have all the kind of the names. And I'm originally from Syria. I'm a Christian Syria, coming from Syria, I think, in 1996. So it's quite some time back. I was quite a child, and I grew up in the Netherlands, studied tax law in the Netherlands, and yeah, that's where the name comes from, I believe.
And you came from Syria to the Netherlands. Could you explain a little bit why? What's the reason you came?
So at that time, I was quite a child. So it was about 10 years. I just followed my mother. You know? But the reason why my mother came to the Netherlands, she was, she as a Christian woman, she really felt like she needed to build the future in the Netherlands with her children. And yeah, my father passed away when I was 2 years old. So she really decided, like, okay, I want to save and a good future for my children. I think she has done an amazing decision.
Yeah, and why the Netherlands? You know, you have so many other countries in the world.
Yeah, I asked her also that. I rather would like to go to Italy or Spain. I thought, like, once you change for the better, you know? Yeah, but it was still very good. I am really, really happy she did very well.
But you don't know why?
No. It was I think part of her family was also in the Netherlands. So, yeah, finally, it's a very good choice.
Very good choice. And what do you miss about Syria? Do you know anything about it? To miss something? Of?
It's, I don't know it.
You don't know it?
You know, like, you will expect me to tell, like, what the streets or the food, but I really don't know it. I grew up here. I was a child. So if I might miss some of my friends where I grew up, and because I didn't have any connection after that with them. So maybe that, maybe part of the parties. I know, like, Syria used to have really good parties, maybe that part, but most of it, I really enjoy living here and being a world traveler.
World traveler, yeah. And about world traveler, so you travel a lot around the world, because I learned you have a lot of companies everywhere around the world in the meantime. Yeah,
we are exporting for 96 countries, so I'm not traveling for all of them every year, but we do have 5 offices around the world. So we have one in the United States, one in Brazil, in Dubai, and one now in Singapore and in the Netherlands. So I try to travel in between these countries. During Corona, it was really, really hard to travel, which was also quite interesting, like how to approach then customers, which are, most of our customers are government agency and large water utilities. So the question was, how do we reach them?
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a lot of creativity again, I think, a lot of meetings, Zooms, Teams, yeah.
And about this company, it's named LG Sonic.
Yes.
And it's about algaes, algen.
Yes.
And yeah, we like to learn a lot. How do you start with algen, algaes? And I think I would like to introduce to sit behind the desk, because it's also a live streaming event. So for the people at home, we're going to sit at the desk. And later on, we will come back here again, and then we are open for questions from you. So to discuss about these algae, I would like to ask you to sit at the end of the desk, and I will sit next to that.
Let's do that.
So, you know, we produce spanbanden, these tie-downs, and you are busy with algae. People ask me often, why did you start with spanbanden, with tie-downs? Did you dream of it? No, not really, but how did you start with algae? That's really interesting to know.
Yes, that's really like also what happened with me when I tell people we are controlling the algae around the world. And the first question is like, are you passionate about the algae? I didn't know the existing of the algae when I started as an internship. So what happened is I started in a company.
Oh, a little bit go back. You started as internship.
Yes. So I started in an internship in a company which were using ultrasound to reduce the chlorine in swimming pools. So
it's getting really technical now, but okay.
I will try to keep it as simple as possible. So it was basically using ultrasound, so it's a sound waves, to treat water without chemicals. But it was in the B2C.
Yeah.
And so we were treating ponds, koi ponds, and really like private swimming pools. And I stayed there since 2003 till 2010. And at 2010...
But that's a long internship.
No, I became an employee.
It's nice to
part-time employee, while at the same time I was studying tax law at the University of Leiden. So during these years, the company went from small to smaller. Mm-hmm. You know, like finally, the ex-owner of the company, she came to me, she said, Yousef, you know, I don't believe people care about the environment. And that's why I want to quit with the company. So it didn't go bankrupt, but technically bankrupt. And if you will imagine, it was quite fair, because you will not buy a device for 2,000 euro to save about 100 euro in chemicals on a year. So returns of investment was not correct. It was too much of a headache. But I had so much passion for the technology. I really love it. So I dropped from the university, and I thought I'm going to restart it. But instead of B2C, I wanted to go B2B. So yeah, that's how I started the LG Sonic company.
Okay, and if you check the website of Yousef, then you see these little algaes.
Yes.
And they look like sweet to me, and it looked like animals to me, it looked like planet to me. And then you have a sort of system, and then you destroy these algae, and they go down. And I felt sorry for these little small.
Yes, you thought bad, Yousef.
Yeah, I thought, what are you doing?
Microorganism, right? Like,
how can this be
nature.
Environmental? Yeah.
Yes. I really compare the algae with cancer cells. So that's like a bold. I know it's a bold definition, but actually, what happened in the water? These blue-green algae, they don't belong in the water in the large quantity. So once you will have the algae bloom, what it will do, it will start releasing toxic to the water, which is going to kill all the organisms, and then the whole water will become dead water. So it's very, very bad, and actually, it really, in the Netherlands, we just know it, like we are not allowed to swim.
That's true, yeah.
In the recreation lake, like blue-green algae.
That's when it's too hot.
Yes, but it's a luxury position. You know, then don't swim in the lake. Yeah. But in other areas around the world, if you are drinking from the water and you are not allowed to use your drinking water or even the tap water, that's a serious problem.
Yeah.
So to give you an example of the impact of the algae, Ohio, I'm talking about Ohio, United States, 400,000 people, they were not allowed to use the tap water to even take a shower. Or to drink it, because it was poisoned by the blue-green algae. So it's a very serious impact. I don't want to walk in Ohio while 400,000 people didn't take a shower. You know, that will be a hell of a job. But you can expect the impact which can have on society if it's hit, the drinking water.
But the growing of these algae, is that then an environmental issue, or is it caused by human?
It's both of them. Part of the growing of the algae is because of climate change. So the temperature of the water is becoming hotter. And the other part is there is a lot of phosphate in our water. And that's because of a human. Humans have used way too much phosphate in their in a lot of different industries. And all this phosphate is entering the water, and that becomes the food of the algae. So like high temperature, a lot of phosphate, which means a lot of algae. That's becoming a biological lessons, I believe, for the most.
Yeah, but first to understand the product, I mean, I think it's interesting to know exactly what you do. So you have made products or a system. You can then kill the majority of the algae.
Yes, but to do that, the most important part, and that's where the patent was about, is to collect the data. You can again compare it with a doctor. If you will go to the doctor, the first thing he will do is a blood test and a lot of other tests. So the water boards in the Netherlands, when we started, they were doing these water samples once in the 2 weeks. But the technology is moving so fast, and what we created is an in situ, so that our buoys are floating on the surface, doing direct measurement, so completely water monitoring every 10 minutes, sending it to our database, and based on this data, we are treating the water. So next to the fact we are treating the water, at this moment we are the Google of the water quality around the world.
We also have data.
Yes, it's big data.
And you say you choose to shift from B to customer, B2C, to B2B, to business, but I assume it's governments as well. So because governments do own a lot of water, I think.
Yes, so we do have a lot of governments, recreation, drinking water, but also power generation plants. They use a lot of water. Industries, they use a lot of water. We have 4 nuclear plants around the world, 1 in Sweden, 2 in UK, and about another 2, so it's 5 in US.
So what's interesting for us to know is at that time, okay, you decided, I like to continue with this company. It was bankrupt, but you thought the product and the idea, the technique is interesting. So then you just took it under your arm in your suitcase and you looked for customers. How did you do that?
Yeah, I hope it was so easy. So what we did is, like, again, because I am not an engineer and because I didn't have any connection with the ultrasound technology, I wasn't in love with the technology. I was really in love with my type of customer. So first thing what we did is we asked ourselves, who are we going to help?
Yeah.
And who will benefit from the technology the most? And that was the water utilities, so the drinking water facilities around the world. And once we had this customer focus, we start to design the product accordingly. So we add solar panels, we extend the reach, we increase the price, so we can deliver better after-sales services. And doing all that, we reinvent the company from a technology-minded company to a really solution-minded company. And by doing that, we could accelerate and grow.
Yeah, that's what we see. If you look into research, the most companies who are really successful, they solve a problem, and they also solve a problem of their customers. So that's how you started.
Yes.
And did you start then in the Netherlands, or did you start in another country first? How did you do the export?
Yes.
How did that start?
So we started in the Netherlands. At least we wanted to start in the Netherlands, but the water boards were very conservative. So they really refused the technology. They say, we don't believe in it, it's not effective, blah, 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 blah. So, and because they had the choice, it's recreation water. I call it cheap water. You know, you just put a couple of signs, don't swim in the water, and you solve your problem.
Yeah.
But so what I thought, we need to go for a customer which really need the product. And that was a drinking water facility, the largest drinking water company in the United States. They had a large facility for the water, and it was polluted with algae. We told them, let's do it 50-50. You pay 50% of the products, and the other 50% once you will be happy with it.
And when did they pay?
I think they paid for it because we used them as a reference, and that's how we could scale. So it was first the United States, and then from the United States, we had the paper where we prove returns of investment, reduction of the chemicals. And it was very hard because nobody knew what we were doing.
No.
It was absolutely new technology in the whole world. And that was quite nice to say, but very hard to prove.
Yeah.
So, but once the largest drinking water facility in the United States said LG Sonic is working great, we had this proof on paper. And with this proof on paper, we went to everyone, and that's how we could scale quite large.
And do you have competitors in the market?
Our competitors, I will say, are really the chemical companies. So, of course, they would like to push chlorine, heavy metal, a lot of bad things, throwing it in the water, and every year. So those are my competitors, and I think we are beating them, not too hard. You know, they are too large to get serious damage till now, but we will come after.
You will come up, yeah. I think a lot of people and end consumers, we do not like these chemicals, so there's a big chance for you to break through. And you are here now with 5 locations worldwide, exporting to 96. What's your BHAG, Big Hairy Audacious Goal? What's your goal? Where are you going to?
So our goal is where people will stop throwing poison in the water. So once that will happen, I will quit. Because the fact, like, if you can imagine, even now in Rotterdam, they are going to use some type of chemicals to throw it in the lake so the algae will not grow. We don't believe throwing chemicals in the water is solving a problem. We think it's polluting the environment. And that's what is actually driving not only me, but the whole team of LG Sonic. We really want to stop this kind of chemicals throwing in the water.
About your team.
Yes.
How many people do work with you in the meantime?
So part of the team is watching at this moment. So I will say hi to my team, like they are now in LG Sonic. I think around the world totally with the whole group, I will say maybe 50 plus. So
50 plus people.
50. Yeah.
50 people. Nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, we have we know a lot of P's, like the P of product and place and of profit, but we also talk about people in our companies.
Yes.
How do you work with your team, 50 people all around the world? You started with one, with yourself. How did you build up your team, and how do you work with your team?
Yeah, that's one of the toughest subject actually to scale. Getting customers is easy once you will get to meet their need. But having the right people and keeping the right people and firing the wrong one is actually the most hard thing about the business. So I was lucky to have a very strong management team. So I'm happy I don't need to do it myself all the time. And also by choosing what we want to do. So a lot of the process in our company, we have outsourced it. So we don't do metal production. We don't do any electronic production. So a lot of things we have outsourced it. We want to keep only the knowledge of the water and the data in our company. So making that decision, we can offer our people really a nice job where they will be challenged to get it to the next level. And how to motivate them, that's actually quite hard because, let's be honest, as a small company, it's hard to meet the loans the large companies will offer. So to give you an example, our CTO, Lisa Brand, which is also a co-founder, and she's in the management team, she got a call from a company, a chemical company, so she will work with them, and she offered 3 times the salary we are offering her. And she has a good salary, that apart,
yeah.
You know? I think it's a good salary.
Yeah.
But still, like, for her to choose to stay with us, it's a big choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's really hard. And people need to believe in what we are doing. So once they will believe and they would like to create some serious impact around the world, then they are welcome in LG Sonic. But if they would like to sit and enjoy their life and travel, and so I don't think like LG Sonic is meant to everyone. It's meant for people which really want to grow and want to create serious impact.
Yeah, and how does your company look like now? Because do you work in your company? Do you have a role in your company? Or do you work on the company? That's how a lot of people now talk about how to lead a company. So yeah, what's your role exactly, your own role in the company?
Official one, I'm a CEO, but I'm running 2 divisions in LG Sonic itself. Like I'm responsible for the innovation and the marketing. So, and the management team, other members are responsible for commercial, operation, production. So, but those 2, I really like it. So no, innovation is part of what I like doing, reading research, thinking about the future, how it can be in 10 years. And marketing, I really love marketing. So those are the 2 daily job I'm doing next to motivating the team, inspiring the team. And
how do you do that, that motivation of the team? Because you're all around the world. Do you have a weekly Teams meeting in the morning? How do you do that?
So first of all, it starts with the mindset. As a CEO, I'm not there to motivate people. You need to get your motivation from yourself. If you would like to work, you would like to create impact, you need to motivate yourself. So that motivation role is not like to create motivation. My job is, if you will compare it with the fitness or like where you will work out, my job is to give you the environment to pay the fee for the fitness. But finally, you need to work out yourself.
Yeah, so, I think I like that. I like that idea.
Yeah,
but how do you see each other weekly, on a weekly basis, or how do you?
We have like a method, we call it DMC. So
a DMC?
Yes, yes. So you need not to work everything in details out. So the first is you need to give it direction.
Yeah.
And then motivation, but not motivate them, but motivate together. So get together motivated for achieving the same goal. And that's something else than motivate you to work. If you are not motivated, I cannot get you motivated. But if you are motivated, I can, with my motivation, we can reach better things. So like finding the common ground on motivation, that's maybe a little bit too complicated, but that's what we believe in. And the last one is like control. You have also to control the people. You cannot, it's not like a zoo. Everybody can do whatever it is. It's not like a friend club. Like, hey, let's go that. No, you have to check if the things are done according to the plan.
Yeah, but that's interesting. So D from DMC, that's your mantra?
That's how I manage my team. Yes.
Okay, and D is direction, so you then decide where to go. Do you do that together with the whole team, or?
No. So the direction it will come from the management team itself, and then each person, so the innovation manager need to DMC his own team.
Okay.
So it's not like me DMCing everyone, but I DMC like 6 people, and these other people DMC another 4 and another 5, and like that. So otherwise, it's impossible to do it for all of them.
And did you made up yourself the DMC way of doing, or did you learn it from someone else?
No, we thought what is working for us, what is working for us as a team, and I thought like I need to give it a name, and it become DMC.
Yeah, nice. And the C of control. What do you do? Once a week you check all the books, or how does that work?
It's the most tough one, because like especially our generation, I consider myself still as a young entrepreneur. We have the idea like we are free. We would like to do whatever we want, and as soon as we need to check, or somebody will control us, we feel like, hey, do you have the right to do it? So there is a very thin line between telling somebody exactly and not checking it at all. So I think it was Steve Jobs who say, you don't hire smart people to do what you want. So there is a lot of freedom, but what I do, the control I do is, do we reach the outcome?
Yeah.
And the outcome in our company need to be more of an outcome than it used to be. So that you have to over-deliver constantly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we cannot grow. So it's a basic thing. Again, working out. Like, if you will do the same weight every time, your muscles are not going to grow. And in our company, it's the same. If you will do exactly the same every day, we are never going to grow. So we need to challenge ourselves. We need to get the weights and sweat a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's not like everybody is working 60 hours in the company, but there is the mindset of over-delivering and positive attitude. Those are the 2 things which I really like.
That's interesting. And the control thing, you just told us that one of your goals is to reduce chemicals in the world. So do you also have a figure on a monthly or yearly base to check if the chemicals are reducing or not?
So the goal is 0. That's
the goal, but do you know where are we now?
0.
Where are we now, and how do you see it's going down?
Yes, so we have like a formula to see how many buoys are we installing, and based on these buoys, we can have quite an interesting formula to see how much are we reducing. So to give you like a nice example, Suez is one of the large companies around the world, and they have done one of our buoys in mining. And they went to 0 of chemicals. So from 100% to 0. That's a moment where you feel alive. Where you say like, yes, we did it. Because there is a product manager, I think it was Australia, right? It was in Australia, which become really very unhappy with our device, because now he will go to Suez and they will tell him, we don't need your chemicals anymore, because we have the MPC buoy. And that's the moment where you feel like, okay, that's the payoff.
That's payoff. But you cannot tell us now like you are on 70% or on 60%. That's too difficult.
There are too many industries and too many kind of chemicals. So it's really hard to say. Yeah.
About the people, we know all that diversity and inclusivity, that's really quite of modern in the moment to use in your company, and to look around that as well, and of look after. But research says if you have 50% women, men, if you have inclusivity, people from all over the world, all religion, everything together, that's the best mix for your company. Yes. How do you see that? And what's your figure? How many women do you have on board? And how do you do that?
Yeah, I am a big believer of diversity, and not because like we need to do it for being correct, or because it really helped the company to grow. So to go back, like the management team is 50-50. So it's me, Lisa, Christine, and Rick. So 50-50. We have all the ages from 20 to, I think it's 50 years. So I think we have more than 20.
All the ages to 50.
Yes.
It's not stopping at 50, is it?
No. No, but I was thinking, do we have all the, no. We do have about 25 nationalities. We speak about 9 languages. So it's a lot of fun to work in our company, that's for sure.
Yeah, and do you feel sometimes, because people say it's quite difficult to work together with all the different cultures, how do you feel that?
Absolutely. There are sometimes challenges, like in our Dutch culture, we are quite direct.
Yeah, that's true.
And you know, there are other cultures which don't like that. So you need to be sometimes smooth, and sometimes just like be open. The other person is not the same. But most of our people are high educated. They are really like world travelers, so they know how to handle multiple culture. But still, like someone don't like to have beer during
during work.
At Friday we don't have beer during work. However, there are some people in my company, which they know that, would like to have beer all day. But like on Friday night, like you need to respect. There is a room where you can discuss in anyway your own opinion, but it is important just to be yourself and to respect the other values.
Do we have an example of a situation when something went wrong due to cultural differences? Have you?
Oh, there are many, but most of it is based on direct communication. So I don't like you doing that, and wow, he's so unpolite to me, blah blah blah. So that's actually the most the most hard examples I can.
Do you train your colleagues on this subject to be less direct, or
no? I really want everyone to be himself. So if one is direct and the other one is not direct, they need to solve it themselves out. How you know, like I am not the father, or I'm not like a school teacher.
No.
Where I will interfere is really when things become disrespectful. But luckily, till now, with more than 10 years experience, never happened.
No, nice. The P of people is also a little bit about personal. So to lead a company, we also hear sometimes that entrepreneurs feel lonely, or it's sometimes difficult to make decisions, difficult to share thoughts. How do you do that? And do you feel lonely sometimes, or?
Do I need to cry?
I don't know. It's a question. I just want to know.
I will say in the last 10 years, there was some moments where I really felt lonely, especially because as a CEO, you are supposed to know and to deal with everything in a correct way. Because it's easy to blame. Like, oh, it's because of him. I have got so many interviews hiring people, and when I ask them, why are you leaving the company? They will say, because the management didn't understand my ideas. Or, you know, and I think like, oh, most probably I will not understand your ideas too. So, like, there is an expectation of the CEO to know and to do everything correct, which is not true. Like, I am also growing in my role. I have done halfway of my entrepreneurship. I've done an executive MBA because I thought I need to have some more leadership skills to get this company to where I wanted to have. So it's a learning process for the people and for me. I do make many mistakes in my leadership. And now, to go back to your question, do I feel lonely? Not so much, because I really have a great management team supporting me always, being very critical about me as well. And as long as we are honest and we discuss it in a direct way in the management team, everything will be fine. And also the whole team is very united, our team in the company. So no, I don't feel lonely anymore.
And you say you like to grow the business. Do you have a mentor, or do you have someone you look up to, or you can ask questions to, how to continue the business?
Yes, so it depends on the subject. I will have different people to ask. So I do have, I will say, like maybe more than one mentor. Growing an organization from an entrepreneurial mindset is quite challenging part, because organization means structure, and pioneering, like starting a business, means everything except structure. Because you need like to see where are the opportunities, solving the problem. So so in the organization, I have a very good mentor, which I on a regular basis talk. We went on dining, and where I ask really the challenges I'm facing. And I had also like a professional mentor from my MBA, where we went with the whole company. So you need to have someone.
Yeah, it's useful, eh?
It's very, very useful, absolutely.
Yeah, that's nice. Then, of course, we have the P of planets. And you also talked about a little bit about planet, about your product. The algae are part of the planet, but also it could be a problem if there are too many. So that's the reason you started the company. And then your goal is to reduce chemicals, and that's of course good for the planet. So that's your BHAG. And you told me when we discussed earlier on the phone that you have a saying like double green.
Yes.
And my question is, could you explain what double green means and what do you want to achieve with that?
So during, as a chairman of an organization, Green Ups, is groei-ondernemers in Dutch, we have about 400 entrepreneurs and companies and scale-ups which are in the scaling phase. So they are all entrepreneurs having found out a product or a service to save the planet.
Yeah, I have to, the green scale-up, the groene groeiers, that's a part of VNO-NCW.
Yes.
And that's a separate organization. So you work for your own organization, but besides that, you also do some work for other organizations, a lot of work, because you can check it on LinkedIn. And this is one part, and there you started to think about green and double green.
Yes, so when we started the organization, Green Scale-Ups, the first thing I found out, there were two kinds of entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. The one entrepreneur is, I will say, the activist. Like, if you will take this table as an example, he will say, like, I can have a wood which is like 10 times better environment, having better impact on the environment. And everybody need to use it. Other way, everyone is bad. You know, like, just to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah, that's activist.
The activism.
Yeah.
You know, like people need to do it.
It's no black-white. It's just black-white.
Yeah.
No
and you
gray.
have the other ones which really didn't care about the environment. They are just caring about the money, which is the other green, the dollars. So what we thought, you need to be double green to have an impact on the world. So only being an activist is not going to help the world, because you need or funds or subsidy or you are going slowly to die and your impact will be just like talking.
Yeah.
And if you will, at this moment, if you will have a company or a product which you are not considering environmental changes, in 10 years you will not exist, and I'm pretty sure about it. It's just too stupid not to think about the environment and the climate change at this moment. It's a big business opportunity, but also it's really irresponsible to set up this kind of company. So that's why we believe in double green. On one hand, you need to look at the environment. On the other hand, it should not be a hobby. You really need to earn money with it, and by doing that, you will be able to grow your business and have some serious impact.
Yeah, I think that's a nice saying, because we started the discussion today also, like we like to connect government, entrepreneurs, and education. Government, they know also about all the problems in the environment, but you see it's a little bit too slow to change. So I think you are right that entrepreneurs could have a big role in that and help with the change for the environment. But your statement is really quite tough to say, if your company is not taking care about the environment at the moment, or not start to think it over, then in 10 years' time you will not exist.
Absolutely, because people don't accept it anymore. So people will not accept if
the end
your
consumers.
Exactly, the end users,
like,
also the other companies. We are dealing with that constantly. Because if you are at this moment coming up with a technology which is based on fuel energy, you will see within the 10 years, you will be way behind, because people will innovate on different energy sources. And also the end user will demand not having a negative impact on the planet. Yeah,
and it's everything. It's about packaging, it's about the material of the products, it's about how to grow our greeneries and all these things. So and with your organization that grow scale-ups, the green scale-ups, how do you then have influence on other entrepreneurs? How do you do that? So because I know for entrepreneurs, they don't like you to say you have to do this or you have to do that. So how do you motivate them?
No, again, I don't motivate people. No, I'm not there to teach them. Otherwise, I would like to become a professor at the university. So I'm not there to teach. I'm not also, as an organization, we would like to help them grow, because the scaling up a sustainable business is 10 times harder than scaling up an IT business. So I will tell you why. An IT business
more difficult.
is more difficult, 10 times more difficult.
10 times more difficult.
And I will tell you why. Because imagine you have a Facebook idea. So if it's going to hit, the only thing you need is more people to code and more servers.
Yeah.
Once it will hit, the scaling process is easy.
Yeah.
So it's costly, but it's easy. So throw more money on it, and it will grow.
Yeah.
Uber, Tausch all this kind of IT businesses. If you will talk about sustainable businesses, let's say you have find out a lithium and a new type of a lithium battery. So first you need it on lab scale, and then you need to pilot it. It's hardware based. So once you will scale it on 10 kilowatt, to go from 10 kilowatt to 1,000 kilowatt is really tough.
Yeah.
So you need much more money, different type of people, production, and what we want.
It costs more money.
It costs much more money, and it costs a lot of time.
Yeah.
So what we do at the Scale-Up organization, we try to get the corporates, which they know how to scale, they have the lines, with the startups. So we really help these startups to get a customer, because I know in my company, when I got this corporate saying, my unit is working amazing good, I had the access to success.
Yeah.
So that's what we do at the, exactly.
Yeah, so then the scale-up starts from there, but the time to there is much longer than in an IT business, that's for sure.
Yes.
We also talked about in the introduction about education, about students. I think we have also some students here in our audience. What do you do with, what do you think of education on these points, like double green, for example? Do you think we need more education in the starting point already at schools, that they start to realize about this situation, or how do you see that?
So I believe at this moment, with the whole digitalization, access to knowledge is not important anymore. So you can learn any kind of knowledge within like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What they really need to do at the university is teaching skills. Skills of negotiation, skills of building connection with the people, skills of solving problem and creativity. Those are the things you will, at this moment, they have a very, very limited attention of the education. What is now shifting is a lot of projects. So I do really like the internships. Actually, I was an intern in my company, but the 3 other management members also used to be interns in the company. So it's really very, very good to do like projects with other companies and to have this kind of cooperation, because then you will learn the serious work.
Yeah. I think we have now discussed a lot of topics and a lot of ingredients to scale up your business, or to start up your business, to grow your business, and also have the right impact on the environment. So maybe it's time to go to the audience to see if they have some questions for you. So let's go there. Let's see. I will stay here. I think we learned a lot in 45 minutes, and we started with the product, because that's really the most important. And then you say most important is to connect your product to your customer, to check what is the need of your customer. And then you started to grow the product, to improve the product to the needs of your customer. And then from the product, we went to the people. And then you teach us, in a way, very interesting thing. It's DMC method. I think we will not forget about that anymore. And we learned that you also need a mentor. So that's nice to know, to grow yourself also. I heard a lot about gym, so I did not ask if you go to the gym yourself, but
I do.
You do?
I do.
So a lot of, to train your muscles, but it's also to train the company and the people in the company. And then we learned, how to connect your business to the planet. And you say, without a business, thinking of environment and planet, you will be out in about 10 years' time. And we have to think double green. So green of the dollars and green of the planet. So it was 40 minutes of big lesson how to start with your company, a bankrupt company, and you turn it into a company with 5 locations and 95 export countries. So really big achievement. Thank you for sharing all these nice things. And probably one of you have a nice question. We have, there's a question.
Hello, good evening, I think. This is Boudewijn from Eye Contact. And I would really like to hear your story about how did you get this first customer in? I believe you mentioned an American company.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on that, please?
Yes. So, yeah, it's a tough one. In our case, what we did is we did a laboratorium study, and then we did it on a smaller, large scale. So it's not a large scale, a medium scale. And then we contacted the innovation manager, because the innovation manager, he has a small budget to do some experiments in the large companies. So we contacted them and we told them, like, this is what we have. We know we don't have your scale, but imagine if it's going to work, what is the impact on your business? So we really did the sales, actually. But we told them we cannot give it for free. Don't expect a small company to do your innovation, because that's what corporates sometimes do. They say, yeah, you can test it for free. I'm not here to finance your innovation department. So if you don't believe, if the corporates will not believe in it to invest, don't go there. Because there is just like free, cheap tests
they
they
are
will
not
do.
really serious then about situations.
No, then just try to find someone and call them and send them the pitch. And again, like, part of that will be answering their needs. So during the pitch, really understand like what's in for them. Don't speak too much about the technique. We didn't explain about the ultrasound. We just told them we can reduce your chemicals by about 70%, which is a returns of investment by 1.8 year. This is the proof you have done. Would you like to test it yourself? And not as easy because we had to travel to US and to prove it, but okay.
But now you just say it in maybe 1 minute. You say, okay, we have a solution for you, we can reduce your chemicals. But I assume it took you maybe some weeks or months to get this pitch really well. How did you do that? Because that's really a skill as well.
So the most difficult was to choose a customer and to stay with it. So to give you like a real-life example, once we choose to go B2B and drinking water. So we had like all this of markets, and we choose like B2B drinking water. And then after 3 weeks, I got a call from a swimming pool owner which say, can we have one of the devices? And here it comes. You know, you can say yes. And we had about 20,000 on the bank at that moment. And it went really fast. Like we were about 3 people and 4 people. And 3. So to say no to a customer, which will pay about 2,000, around 2,000, was very, very tough. That was maybe the toughest decision I took in the last 10 years. To say no to money, well, I really need it. But I thought, like, if we are going in the B2C, we are going to die anyway.
You had already the example.
Yes, exactly. So we really stick and we told them, no, we are not going to do it. So choosing the right customer and really doing everything to fulfill his need, that was the toughest to do.
And work on that really elevator pitch.
Yes.
And then find the right things. Like reducing chemicals, you know, that sounds really very logical to me, and I think, okay, that's what everybody likes, so that's really a nice sentence.
Yeah, but
except chemical.
He will say, what is the impact of the fish?
Yeah.
What is the lifetime?
Yeah.
You know, this kind of questions, which, like the impact of the fish we knew, but the lifetime, if you have never installed it, how do you know the lifetime?
Yeah.
Like, what is the lifetime? I tell him, 10 years. Do you know that? I say, no, but I know aluminum is really a tough material. So it's also some creative thinking, but you should not put all your options with one company. So really try many massive action on many customers.
Any other question from the audience? Yes. Here's the mic.
I'm Ronald Baar from TechLab, a product development company. I wonder, from a technology point of view, the company went technically bankrupt. So how did you acquire the technology to continue the company with? How did the transfer go?
I heard about the patent also.
Yeah, no, the patent was after. So the patent, there was at this moment not like a technology which was patented or a technology. So it is a passive-active takeover, which means like we took the loan and the company, and I said, I will continue the company and I will take the guarantee. And that's actually how we did it. So it was very simple. It was also very small. The total turnover of the company was about 100,000. So, and it was losing like 100,000. So there was not much to buy from them. And I had a loan of 20,000 from my family. So I thought, like, guys, we have about 6 months to survive with very minimum loan, and let's give it a trial.
Yeah, it's very brave, very brave. Any other question from here, Kati? Another question? Yeah, we have one over there, and then, yeah.
You talked, you went to B2B as a focus point. Do you see an opportunity for B2C, maybe in a subsidiary company in the future, or you want to continue and focus on B2B?
No, we will continue with the B2B because the B2C, I don't see the added value for the customer. It's way too expensive, and it doesn't really solve his problems. So that's why we will never enter with this technology. So I'm not against the B2C.
And you also told me that it's an interesting point about your company, that within the company you try also to do innovation. And then sometimes employees or your colleagues or partners, they come up with innovations. And then you said, from that innovation, another company started. Can you tell us something
about that? So that's really, really interesting. And I will ask also the entrepreneur to do it. Like, one of the, we have 3 spin-offs from our company. And one of it is three spin-offs. So 3 different, one in Norway, one in Belgium, and another one in Dubai. And they were all 3. The core technology was, let's say, more or less find out in LG-Sonic. And one of it is really an interesting technology where we desalinate the water. So we make from seawater, drinking water. But that's out of our business. We don't do that. And the business partner, he told me, like, it's really interesting. So we did some testing, and we find it's working. We ask a patent. We get a patent granting, really changing technology for the water industry. And then we submitted for a European fund where we got selected by 2.5 million. We have invested from our company about 500,000 euro. Yeah, first it was 3 years of hard working and a lot of money from our company, like 300,000. And then developing this technology from very lab scale to a large scale. But the business partner, he really believed in it, and he put so much effort in it. And now it's, I think that they are in Belgium about 10 people, and we are still one team. So part of the team in LG-Sonic still working in the other company, but it's unbelievable nice environment to see.
So that's also an interesting learning point, because of course, we are in the Netherlands, we live in Europe, we have the European community. Yeah. And you told me, you just told us that you got money from Europe to grow your business. How did you do that?
So there is an interesting program, I think maybe will be also interesting for the audience. The name is EIC, European Innovation Council. It's more or less the Oscar of the business. You know, like the chance to get it is about between 1% and 5%. But once you will get it, you will get like everything. The idea from Europe over there is to scale up to unicorn companies. So again, it's you are not only getting money, you are getting money with a very strong shareholder, which is the European Commission, with a lot of other services. I will not say it's for every company, but definitely take a look about it. I am also in the advisory board of the program, so I have helped the whole program to start and think about the challenges that green businesses will meet during scaling. So it's an interesting, definitely, guys, for you. If you're looking for money and you are busy with a huge innovation which can scale in a large method, it's worth looking at it.
And I assume it's only for businesses having impact on the environment.
No, it's a 10 billion program, 10 billion.
10 billion fund, still there.
It's still there.
It's waiting for us.
Waiting for some of you.
Waiting for some of you. Okay, so it's just easy to find on the internet, or?
Yes. European Innovation Council, and then there are a couple of programs. The accelerator, business accelerator, is the most interesting one. And yeah, it's a tough one. So don't go too early for the program because definitely you will not get selected. But once you will be ready.
But now we know him, so that's.
Yeah. But I'm not in the selection of the project. I'm just in the brainstorming area.
Okay.
But what will be interesting, diversity is there also important.
Oh, yeah.
So don't go there with four engineers, same age, talking about the technology.
Yeah.
Female entrepreneurship is really, really important. And for the reason, also like diversity in age and identity.
Everything.
Yes.
Yeah, nice. We had still one question over there.
Hi, Yousef. It's so inspiring to hear you, and I think it's amazing to hear you're active now in 96 countries. I think for many entrepreneurs it's a dream to work this internationally, but I can imagine it's also a nightmare when the world's in lockdown. So how did you manage the lockdown time?
It was really, for many reasons, a nightmare because we have so many nationalities working in our company, so they are experts. So the first thing we thought, like, okay, if there will become a lockdown, people need to go to their own country. So we offered our team to go back to their country in Costa Rica and Estonia. So that was the first thing. I really wanted to take care of my people. Didn't want them to be lonely here. So that was the first idea. I thought, it's somewhere in Asia. Yeah. We'll be fine. We are so broad around the world. And then it came to Europe. Yeah, we are not so active in Italy. It will be fine. And then it came to whole Europe. And then we thought, becoming interesting. But at least US and South America is safe. And then it hit there, and it hit much stronger. And then there was nowhere. There was literally, we had like customers waiting for the devices that they didn't pick up the phone anymore. So everything was in silent. And that was panic. That was not like me being in charge, like, guys, everything will be fine. That was like, what the hell is happening? And what we did is, the main thought, because everyone was working from home, we couldn't travel anymore, we couldn't meet the people. And I thought, guys, the only thing we can focus at is innovation.
Yeah.
So I want everyone to look how you can innovate your job. So office manager, look to a new insurance, reduce the insurance cost. Everyone's were looking. And we came up actually with the two innovation within 1 year. One of them is measuring the phosphate. So a laboratorium on water to measure phosphate. So that was actually because of the corona. So it was very tough, a lot of panic, but
also
and good,
positive
everything good.
Yeah, that's nice. Yousef, we're at the end of this interview, and I think we learned so many things, and I think you are all prepared now to become an entrepreneur like you because of all your great advice and experiences. And we all will go to the European Union for that big amount of money, of course, to help. I would like to say thank you to you for your time and your inspiration. Although you say I'm not motivating, but you did motivate us, I'm sure. And I'd like to thank you all here in the audience for your presence and to listen to this nice story of you. And I wish you all the best. And I really hope that in about maybe 5 or 10 years we can say you have reached your goal. There are no chemicals anymore in the world, and we go for double green. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Monique. Thank you very much for you too.
There's probably people touching, people thinking about